Hey, welcome everybody to tonight's show. I'm your host, West Coast Wolf. Tonight we're going to be discussing some things about the first Afro-American black president. The first Afro-American president, Barack Obama. Why no progress for blacks? I chose this topic because I think there's a great deal of frustration with the last 7.5 years of President Obama's presidency. Black folks are pissed off, and they should be. Black folks are getting killed, seem like more and more by the police, and with no real power moves made by our first black president. Now, I'm not sure how you feel about President Barack Obama. I mean, I did vote for him myself twice, but after taking some time to myself as I just study and reflect on the last 7.5 years of his presidency, I have to be forced to come to terms with what's happening under his reign. Now, I do know that this actually is something orchestrated by the elite of this country, but I believe that he can do a few things for us. Now, many of you know that he's also passed many of bills to help get the Hispanic community to stay in this country. He did executive order to help the people stay with the families, those from Mexico and abroad who've been here for some time. And that's cool and everything. But what about our black people who've been here all these years, taking all this abuse, public lynchings by the police and white supremacists in these back alleys and back roadways across this country? So many people are to the point where they're just pissed off. They're pretty much sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I'm with them in that camp. And I don't know, people might say, he talks really well. Yes, he does. There's been a few good things that we have benefited from, like health care for a lot of us. But in the bigger scheme of things, there hasn't been a whole lot done for black people. And I know he's tied by Congress. I understand that. Congress is a factor. But what we have to realize is he does have something called the executive branch. I mean, he has sent many executive orders through the pipe to get things done when Congress wouldn't work with him. And people maybe have criticized him for that. But I'm like this, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. And it still shows, history shows that he has not used as many executive orders as past presidents. But yet, nothing has been put in place for black people. So I ask you guys tonight, do you really feel like he's our first black president? I mean, yes, color of his skin, you look at and he's black. But I'm talking about something deeper today. I'm talking about your heart, your core system of motivation. So if you analyze the decisions he's made in the past and some of the announcements that he's made, it's almost like he's afraid to speak out for black people. And I know it'll definitely be a lashback from the white supremacists of this country. But at the same time, this is his last term in office. He will never be president again. He will never have the powers he has now. What is this? July. So we got August, September, October, November, December. He has 5 months. 5 months to have the power of the presidency. What he's going to do with those 5 months, people are saying, oh, I know he's getting ready to do it now. He's going to pull the trigger, and he's going to do something for black people. Well, I want you to make your own decisions after I read you some inserts from his biography. And I want to explain it to you guys after I finish reading this. So please listen very carefully to what I read here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read you a few paragraphs because I want you to fully understand where I'm coming from what I'm about to say. Okay. On the biography, this is from biography.com. You can read it yourself. You want to read the whole thing. We're talking about President Barack Obama. President Barack Obama. Barack Hussein Obama II was born on August 4th, 1961, in Honolulu, Hawaii. His mother, Ann Dunham, was born on an army base in Wichita, Kansas, during World War II, after the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Um, Her father, Dunham's father, Stanley, enlisted in the military and marched across Europe in General George Patton's army. Okay. So you know her dad was in the military. Remember that fact. Okay. Obama's father, Barack Obama Sr., was born of Luo ethnicity in Nyanza province, Kenya. Obama Sr., his father, grew up herding goats in Africa and eventually earned a scholarship that allowed him to leave Kenya and pursue his dreams of going to college in Hawaii. So it sounds that Barack Obama's father was a pretty smart man. Okay, while he was studying, he met President Barack Obama's mother in Hawaii. Okay, but here's what I want to get to. As a child, Barack did not have a relationship with his father. When his son was still an infant, Obama Sr. relocated to Massachusetts to attend Harvard University and pursue a PhD. Barack's parents officially separated several months later and ultimately divorced in March 1964, when their son was 2. So when President Barack Obama's father left or they got divorced, he was 2 years old. Keep that in mind. Okay, he was 2. Now, in 65, Dunham, which is his mom, married this Indian cat, Lolo. He was a student at the University of Hawaii also. He's from Indonesia. Okay, Indonesian dude. So, a year later, their family moved to Jakarta, Indonesia, where Obama's half-sister was born, okay, in 1970. Several incidents, here's a kick this point right here. Several incidents in Indonesia left Barack Obama's mom afraid for her son's safety and education. So at the age of 10, Barack was sent back to Hawaii to live with his maternal grandparents, his mom's parents. His mother and half-sister later joined him. So they came back from Indonesia after a year or two. So apparently that wasn't working out to do the second relationship. Okay. Education. While living with his grandparents, Obama enrolled in the esteemed Punahou Academy. He excelled in basketball. He can play ball and graduated with academic honors in 1979. As one of only 3 black students at the school. 3 black students. Obama became conscious of racism and what it meant to be African American. He later described how he struggled to reconcile social perceptions of his multiracial heritage with his own sense of self. Quotes, I noticed that there was nobody like me in the Sears, Roebuck, Christmas catalog, and that Santa was a white man, he wrote. I went to the bathroom and stood in front of the mirror with all my senses and limbs seemingly intact, looking as I had always looked, and wondered if something was wrong with me. Obama also struggled with the absence of his father, who he saw only once more after his parents' divorce, when Obama Sr. visited Hawaii for about a short time in 1971. So President Obama was born in 1961. His dad, after they broke up at his age 2, okay, later on in his life, at 10 years old, he visited, okay, at 10. My father had, this is what he says, Obama talking. My father had left paradise, Hawaii, and nothing that my mother or grandparents told me could obviate that single, unassailable fact, he later reflected. Quote, they couldn't describe what it might have been like. 10 years later, in 1981, tragedy struck President Obama's father when he lost both of his legs in a serious car accident. This is in Kenya. Confined to a wheelchair, he also lost his job. In 1982, which was the next year, his father was involved in yet another car accident, traveling in Nairobi, Kenya. This time, he lost his life. So President Obama's father died in November 24, 1982, when Obama was 21 years old. At the time of his death, his father remained a myth to him, Obama later wrote, both more and less than a man. After high school, Obama studied at Occidental College in Los Angeles for 2 years. He then transferred to Columbia University in New York City, graduating in 1983 with a degree in political science. Okay. After working in the business sector for 2 years, Obama moved to Chicago in 1985. There he worked on the impoverished South Side as a community organizer for low-income residents in the Roseland and the Altgate Gardens communities. Okay. Um, here's a key point too. Listen to this right here. His law career. It was during this time that Obama, who said he was not raised in a religious household, joined the Trinity United Church of Christ. He also visited relatives in Kenya and paid an emotional visit to the graves of his biological father and paternal grandfather. For a long time, quotes, for a long time I sat between the two graves and wept, Obama wrote. I saw that my life in America, the black life, the white life, the sense of abandonment I'd felt as a boy, the frustration and hope I witnessed in Chicago, all of it was connected with his small plot of earth and ocean away. Okay? Returning from Kenya with a sense of renewal, Obama entered Harvard Law School. The next year, he joined the Chicago law firm of Sidney Austin as a summer associate and Michelle Robinson, a young lawyer assigned Barack's advisor. Not long after, the couple began dating. So you see that his wife, Michelle, she was an aspiring young lawyer too. She was his advisor. So long after they started dating, and in 1990, Obama was elected the first Afro-American editor of the Harvard Law Review. He graduated with magna cum laude, top of his class, Harvard in 1991. Okay. After law school, Obama returned to Chicago to practice as civil rights lawyer with the firm of Minor, Barnhill, and Gallant. Okay. So he also taught constitutional law part-time in the University of Chicago Law School between 1992 and 2004, first as a lecturer and then as a professor, and helped organize voter registration drives during Bill Clinton's 1992 presidential campaign. Okay. He and Michelle were married in 1992. They moved to Kenwood on Chicago's South Side and welcomed two daughters several years later. So, I'm not going to go into the past that. Some of you guys are late to the call. But what you missed, you have to get on the rebroadcast on YouTube. You make your questions and comments in the box below. But basically, for those who are here from the beginning, I just read you some things that most people have really overlooked, even myself included. But over the years of this presidency of Barack Obama and what's been happening in this community around the world, the black community nationwide of the U.S., great damage through the police violence, murders, white supremacists controlling all the jobs at the higher levels, even the low levels, displaced workers in prison for our people. You notice that President Barack Obama has not done much to offset these problems. And I'm making a case to you today to look over his history. And at this point in my life and what I've seen of him, I can't really blame him. But there's a lot of weight to carry an entire community when you're not really black inside. Yes, he married Michelle Obama. Yes, he did. But did he marry Michelle Obama because she was the only one that's willing to accept him fully? Because he did date white folks in the past too. She said he pretty much wooed her, and it took a while to come around to him and whatnot. But my thing is this: if you look at his history, he lost his father at 2 years old. They got divorced. Then he was moved to Indonesia with his mom's second husband. And based on what she said, she was worried about his survival and his life in Indonesia. Now, that they didn't go into detail what that meant. I had to read a book or so, but I can only gather as a black man, he didn't have his father. You got a stepfather now. He's angry. He maybe gave him a few problems. He maybe went to the street. Possibly also people didn't accept them being a biracial couple and maybe got criticized as that with the other kids in Indonesia. And in a poor country like Indonesia, I think I read an insert where he talked about how much poverty there was and how people were getting by. So he's 2 years old when he lost his father. They broke up, divorced. He's not dead yet. They divorced or separated, whatever. They divorced. They did because she married the other guy, the Lolo, which is the Indonesian guy. Okay. So she sent him back from Indonesia at age 10 to live with her grandparents. And I read an insert talking about him and his grandfather wasn't doing too well. Well, I'll say one because his grandfather was a white man, and he grew up in a white, different kind of society than what Barack was accustomed to, and he was a military cat, so he's probably really hard on Barack Obama growing up for two reasons. One, his father left his mother, which is his daughter, probably pissed him off that a black man, an African, had his daughter all locked down. And he created a black son, which he's not used to dealing with. And he's a military cat. So all these things in the background, Obama's growing up into. So his first move, even when he went back to school, she's into all the white schools, he had identity problems, family. Barack Obama has identity problems. And although he has his own family now, it has become crystal clear to me, maybe not to some of our naive community members in the nation, but it comes to me crystal clear. This man that we call our first black president is not really black at heart. And yes, he married a black woman, but hey, we got black men who marry white women. It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean because on the outset, that could be a campaign move to get into political corners that you couldn't get into because there's no black community going to accept you and vote you into office with a white woman. That wouldn't have happened. He needed to have a black woman by his side to get the black community's vote. Even today, there cannot be any black leadership with a white spouse. It just can't happen. It won't happen. So at 10 years old, he moved back to his grandparents' house to be raised by grandpa. A couple years later, his mom came back with her new daughter, okay, from the second marriage. Now he leaves the high school. His first real movement into a totally integrated society probably was in college. But not even then, because Harvard is not mostly black people on Harvard University. So, but he did do some community work. So he went to Chicago. He dived into this community work. I think he started some kind of community organization. They were doing something for the Chicago community and the impoverished, feeding the sick, helping the poor, that sort of thing. But you realize that President Obama, he grew up totally white. And I'm going to tell you something, that does something to some people. Now, if you're a man on this phone, listen to my voice, and you grew up without a father, which most of us did at some point, you can understand if you just really sit back and just meditate on that. How would you feel being whitewashed into a society, not having your real father, everything you see negative showing for black people? Think about that. Everything this man's seen from the age of 2 on to like 15, 18 years old has been negative for black people. He lived in all the whitewashed areas. He went to all the whitewashed schools. He talks real proper, which is great. But all of his friends, the majority of his friends, was not black people. You read the inserts from his biography. He talks about he had identity problems, looking in the mirror for long periods of time, wondering what's wrong with him. And I'm gonna tell you, family, that does something to you. And you look at this man in office now, literally afraid to speak up for black people. Now, any black man calls himself a man, any man that says he stands for something, you could not stand by and watch your people get literally picked off by the police and white supremacists around this country. It couldn't happen. They would not make me president. I would never get a president office. I would never get any type of office because they know what this Negro would do. President Barack Obama was chosen by the elite well before the election because I believe the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, that he signed in 2014, most people didn't even look at that, don't even know nothing about that. That bill will allow the president to have full powers to hold anybody without trial, without any type of, because they call it habeas corpus, not just jury. So basically, he can call martial law on the entire nation, keep his presidency office, and also keep control of the government while we have crisis in this country. Now, as he signed this bill, he said that, never forget he said, I don't think this is not, I don't really feel that great about this bill. I would never institute these things but he signed it. He signed it anyway. And what I'm telling you guys, family, tonight, I believe President Barack Obama was just put in office because we had a point in the country where race relations were not doing well. We need to revitalize this country to the point where people would come back and not burn this thing to the ground. President Bush messed things up so bad for them 8 years. If they didn't have somebody come in, the minorities, quote unquote, the slaves of this country, would respect, this country would probably be burning right now. He brought things back to some degree. Yes, he did. But they didn't. They bailed the banks out, and the banks took that money overseas and put their money in other countries and corporations across the world, not here. So now under his watch, you see things starting to reverse a little bit. Every 8 years since President Bush, you see that the economy always goes back recessively back to what it was prior to the person taking office. I'm telling you, family, today that I don't think President Barack Obama signed the NDAA Act to be instituted under his watch. I believe the next president will use that, or the next president. But they needed somebody smooth talking, somebody that people would accept and not riot by signing these types of bills into office under his watch. So when he's got also this whole TPP, this trade agreement, to reduce the actual buying power of Americans and reduce our jobs and make deals across over the nation, to more deals to make people have cheaper exports and imports into this country. That ain't gonna help us. I know the last couple of presidents signed something similar, some kind of trade deal on the way out. And I'm telling you, we down to the wire now, family. And if you're looking at what's going on, President Obama got on TV and he said that when the policeman got shot this last time in Dallas, that was a cowardly act. He said that no police officer be attacked this way. There's absolutely no excuses for it. It's totally unacceptable. Well, I'm sorry, President Obama, I don't agree with you. Yes, it was a bad deal to kill those policemen randomly like that. But you know what? It's also a bad deal to keep killing black men and nobody saying nothing about it. That you ain't in office, you ain't doing nothing in office to make it happen. You have power of the executive order branch. You can sign an executive order. You can put a full background into every police department across this country. Let them people know you meant business. But he's not going to do that, because my argument is this: he's not really black at heart. He grew up in a whitewashed white society. I'm so angry. I don't know if you can tell. He grew up in a whitewashed society who taught him black was wrong and white was right. Even in office, he has said very minimal things about the discrimination, about the racism that we have in America against black people. He could have signed direct executive orders to do for our people, but no. He did for the Hispanic because they sent him some money. He did for the LGBT community because they sent him some money. But if he had a core black vibe, of a core black heart to his own people, he wouldn't allow this to go on. So I'm telling my people right now, stop crying about what this man ain't done for you. It ain't going to happen. And as a matter of fact, we're going to get President Trump. Some people disagree, but that's neither here nor there. And you know what? We need President Trump. I'm not going to vote for President Trump, but we need President Trump. You know why we need President Trump? Because black folks need to get off their ass and make some positive moves for their people. Stop waiting on some president to show up to do for us. It's not going to happen. This was the best shot we had at getting something done. And Dr. Umar even goes before and says this. Dr. Umar says, you know what? If you guys don't boycott Obama at this point, if we don't form protests against our president personally, he said our grandkids in this country, it's over for them. It's over for our children. Because white folks going to say, you had a black president. You didn't get nothing done then. Don't cry to a white president. You didn't give your president no agenda. You didn't make him do things for you. All you guys did was protest when police kill your people. So I'm telling you right now, family, you know what? Hey, Dr. Umar, he may be right about that. I know nobody's going to do it. But my point is this. I need for my people to stop crying about President Obama, because at his heart, he is not a black man. He is confused about his identity. He has been confused about his identity since he was a child. Now, that wasn't his fault. But across this America, we got many of black men with no father figures, confused about who they are. Women without confused about who they are, not good role models at home. Across this country. So we can't hold him accountable and we not demand anything from him. So he got 5 months left in office, family. 5 months. But he does not feel black on the inside. I'm telling you. Because any man, listen, he has Attorney General Eric Holder at one point. He got Attorney General Loretta Lynch now. They've launched one full federal investigation for Ferguson because Ferguson went up in fucking flames, okay? This damn city had to be put on fire. Think about this. It had to burn to the damn ground before they did an investigation that heavily into the police force. And still, Darren Wilson, the police officer that killed him, the race soldier, really was a race soldier, wasn't really a policeman. The race soldier that killed Michael Brown walked. How many people have walked under this man's watch? Think about that. How many? Too many to count. So I'm telling my people right now, stop complaining, man. Stop worrying about this president. I don't care who you vote for. I got people that fight to the ground on voting for Hillary, voting for Trump, Bernie. Bernie's out of it now. They cheated Bernie. Come to find out, they cheated Bernie. 6 months of media blackout, and this woman in charge of the DNC convention was this Schultz lady. She put all the debates set up for Saturday nights. Nobody's watching TV on Saturday nights for no political debates. But yet the Republican debates was all on Tuesday night. On top of that, she got emails that got hacked showing how she was against Bernie Sanders from the gate. Talking about this man's religion, see belief in God. Totally biased. So they got infighting in the Democratic Party. They got infighting in the Republican Party. I'm telling you, black folks in the middle, we have no party. We don't have nobody speaking for us. Yes, the president looks black. But how many people you know that are black skinned but white at heart? Think about it. How many people you know that's not really black? They don't have no real hard feelings for the black community. But they'll fight you down speaking against the white community, and they're black. So I'm telling you right now, I just want people. I don't want people to be disheartened come January when President Trump sits in office and Barack Obama has not done anything new for the black community. I just listened to the radio station the other day. People say he got 5 months left, y'all. He got 5 months left. Something's going to happen. I'm sorry, family. I beg to differ. Nothing's going to happen because this man has a black family, but he's still confused at heart. How could you watch all these killings of unarmed black men and not do anything about it? I can guarantee you one thing. Had it been the other way around, if it had been a white President Trump be in office and black policemen were killing white cops, guaranteed people will be in prison behind that. Guaranteed charges will be getting filed against that. President Barack Obama, he came into office, he had the Senate and the House for a couple of years. But you know what he wanted to do? He wanted to negotiate. He wanted to be accepted. He's still trying to get accepted by the white community. Think about it. He's still trying to be accepted. Man, I'd have been so hard boiled. These people right here. Listen, I said, get me in office again. That's what we all said. We vote for him again, term 2. He's going to make changes. It's going to happen, y'all. Just hope he's going to come. Trust me, it's coming. We 5 months down the main last stretch, family. 5 months down. Nothing. Absolutely not a damn thing done for us. I'm telling you, family, let's start to depend on ourselves, okay? As a group, we got to band together, put our money, resources, and time together, and make some shit happen for us. Because we ain't got a whole lot of time to be complaining about doing anything. Next year, I call it the year of rage. The year of rage is upon us, family, and it's going to be ugly as hell. I don't care. Let me say I'm wrong. I'll say if I'm wrong. Hillary Clinton steps in office. She is the most ruthless woman since Margaret Thatcher. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now. She's going to say whatever she got to say to get in office. When she get in office, you're going to find out who she really is. I deal with white women in charge of these offices just like Hillary. I can look in her eyes and tell she's the most devious woman you want to meet. That's an evil woman. But, some people don't see that. Hey, either her or Trump, right? I'm saying, you know what? The hell with it. Let's get Trump now. Let's get it done. Because I'm tired of this shit. I'm sick and tired hearing Negroes complain about stuff and they don't want to put their money on nothing. I'm sick and tired of people talking about things ain't right, and they won't get off their ass and do nothing. Every community meeting we have, everybody and mama should be there. Every event that people give into the community, people should be coming out in droves. Put that damn entertainment stuff down. You know what? Them people come in town, Drake and whoever you listening to, whoever you watching in this concert, they're going to come back another time. But will you be here? See, people live like we got one day left on this earth. That's how black folks live today. No planning for the future. Well, you know what? The white folks, the white supremacists that run this country, they're planning for you not to have a future too. And if you allow yourself to go along with their plan, you're really not going to be here. And chances are great, your kids going to have a hell of a time. Look around your children. You got kids in college right now. You got little babies in diapers. Those in school right now. Think about 10 years from now. The ones in diapers going to be in high school. The ones in college going to be in the main world, dealing with white supremacy straight up. And I'm telling you right now, if you got any little young black boys in college or in school, from kindergarten to high school, I'd be worried. I'd be very worried. Because when police stop us come next year, they give a damn who the president was, used to be. They'll give a damn who it was, President Barack Obama. They're like, he ain't here no more, Negro. You're dealing with the white folks again. And it's going to be some major problems in this country. I see major riots next year. I see more police killings next year. It's to the point where I don't believe even Reverend Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, must be Jesse James, but I see them brothers up there, reverends, trying to keep the peace with us. Folks ain't listening to them no more. What's going to happen to this country when folks stop listening to the pastors of the churches now? Think about that. What's going to happen? See, President Barack Obama accepted Christianity later on in his life, but he said in the biography he grew up in a non-religious household. He grew up in a household with atheists. And he also denounced his pastor to get in the White House. Okay? Gave him up. But yeah, he used some of the man's great quotes that he used, his pastor. But he denounced him. He denounced Minister Louis Farrakhan too. Because Hillary Clinton in a debate, she tried to push that. So it just showed that he's willing to do everything he got to do to get in office. But to do what? See, it's one thing about playing the game. If you want to play the game, you know, you can maneuver in, say the yes to get over just to get you in that position to do some damage. That's fine. I respect you for doing that. Get in there how you get in there. But when you get in there, what you going to do? I ain't seen no progress. I ain't seen nothing. And I'm watching very closely. So my deal is this, family. We got to get our head out of our ass, man. We got to get our head out of our asses. This going to cost you your family. It's going to cost you your livelihood. Might cost you your life. I wish I could see if every black person on the earth today knew that they had a year to live before the white supremacists try to purge us off this nation. I wonder would they do something different today. I wonder what would they be doing if they just knew they had a year left to live when the white supremacists come through the neighborhoods and just kill off everything black. And it was allowed by the president. I'm just wondering, what would happen if we really felt that way? Would we have meetings where people were empty? Would they have meetings, town hall meetings, community meetings, or anything? Would it be empty chairs still? Would there be places that concerts are filled up by black people? I just wonder. Is fear the only thing that drives black people today? Fear. As long as you feel like you got the Negro trinkets, your car works, you got money in your pocket, you got your concert going, Facebook is up, Twitter is up, Snapchat, Instagram is up, your life is good? I just wonder, what would happen if every black person in America today, whether you thought you was white, with a black skin, if you knew we had 1 year as a group, as a collective, 1 year before major genocide in this country against us, what would you do different? Because this hope, as President Obama is getting ready to leave in 5 months, you better have your ass together. You better have your ass and your mind in gear. And if you're not teaching your children, you're bullshitting. If you got your kids thinking they're going to go to college, get a degree, and have a good job, you're bullshitting. That's absolutely not going to happen. See, gentrification is not only affecting our neighborhoods, it's also affecting our jobs. Some of you people who got a little older, been in jobs for 10, 20, 15, whatever, 30 years, don't mean your job is secure. They can lay all you got. You don't know how many white supremacists out here. I read a post on Facebook the other day. Talked about this white. It had a picture, a screenshot of this woman, this white lady, this white girl, 21-year-old, whatever. She's there working at some like restaurant or whatever. She said, you know what she said? She said, you know what? This dumbass tweeted this. She said, I wish, I hope if we have a real life purge in America, she said, I would kill every Mexican I could within 24 hours. That's what she said. She put this on Twitter. See, you don't know, just because they smile on your face at your job, you don't know how many white supremacists you're working with. You really don't know. If you look at the videos that I posted on the Barry Black Community YouTube page, shout out to Dr. Umar, he said all white folks are racist, all of them. Look at the video. I put it up on the group, on the page now. So you follow us on Twitter at Barry Black. Follow us on the Barry Black Community Facebook page. Like the page. Follow us on YouTube, the Barry Black Community. Look at what we have on there. So I'm just telling you, family, that you know what? Don't get your hopes up. Not even for your job, because what I'm watching, there's an influx of so many people from out of this country coming here for jobs. They're paying for people to come here. They are paying for high-level skilled jobs from India and China and Germany, Europe, to come here, take jobs that they could train people here for. So they really want to fix the problem, they would fix it. It costs them money. They got to pay for somebody to come from overseas to come here to get a job you should have. So President Barack Obama, he knows the African-American population is suffering. 50% or 35% of the men don't have jobs. And we have those who could be learning some trade skills or whatnot. There's no program set together for us. He could set aside a specific program just for African Americans. He could do that. He did it for the gays, LGBTQ. He did it for the Hispanic, try to give them the DREAM Act, I think, to keep their families together. He does it for everybody but us. Everybody but us. But yeah, we still shocked. Well, if you read his biography, like I just read a piece of you guys in the outset of this broadcast, that he hadn't had really real contact with black folks until really after high school. So he's a young man. He's 20, so he's 18, 19, 20 years old at this point. Still not struggling who he is. Father wasn't there to train him how to be. And he didn't grow up around no black folks. So yeah, he's struggling. He looked himself to see black. Look, his wife, he see black. Kids are black. But within himself, family, he's struggling with the fact that he's black. He's struggling with that. And if he had grew up in the inner city and made to where he is today, maybe something would be different. I just asked myself, I believe he said he's going to stay in Washington, D.C. after his presidency until Sasha gets out of school, whatever. But I'm thinking to myself, would it really behoove him to go back to Chicago? Could he really go back to Chicago the way Chicago is and go back to the church that he denounced to be a president? Where is he going to go to get the real respect from black people? Where are you going to go? Some people just blindly follow people because they're black. I get it. I understand that concept too. We have a lot of stuff. But if a black person you put in office is going to do more damage to you than they do good, was it really a good idea we put him in office? Was that really a good idea for us? Because now the campaign speeches are gone. The campaign trail is over. What we got left, family? There should be money put aside, federal funding just aside for black people. Just us. That never happened. And with 5 months left, family, all he trying to focus in on is getting Hillary in office to maintain his legacy. That's it. You ask him what he did for black people, what can he say? Healthcare? That's for everybody. Nothing specific for us. So I'm opening the lines up to family. You guys, if you guys want to comment, press 1, and I'll be your way. You say you have something to say about what I talked about tonight. Those who come in late, sorry you missed a few things, but give me your thoughts on my my information tonight. Give me your thoughts on how you feel about the president, and do you feel like he is the real deal? I know besides Congress, do you feel like he's the first Afro-American president at heart or just skin? So I want to hear from you guys. So I'm opening the lines up. You guys press 1 on your phone and you can speak. Press 1 on your phone, you can speak. Let me see here. Press 1 on your phone, you can speak. I'm opening it up. Let me see here. Hang on. Welcome to the call, Mr. Harper.
Hey, what's up? Hey. Oh, yeah. I was listening to what you're saying, and it's funny, I never really checked out his biography, but kind of made me get a better understanding of him. How do I feel about Barack Obama? He's just another man. I mean, that's just how I feel. He's just another man. I don't view him as even putting any policies into effect or new paperwork for our community, even just pushing 1 or 2 new paperworks for our community. So I just view him as another, almost as a white president. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm saying, hate to say it, but he's just another dude to me,
Yeah, I mean, what is he? What name a bill he's done for us? Name something he put in place specifically for Black people. I know they said something called "My Brother's Keeper," but that's not enough. What has he done for the community as a whole? Is there any funding in place for us? Any funding specifically for African-American community to revitalize us?
No.
He knows very well, the CIA, everybody knows the history of the Black people, that they destabilize our communities with drugs and cocaine and alcohol and these prison sentences that were way too long under having just a marijuana case. He knows this.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say is about other communities such as the Latin community and the homosexual community. They join together. They put their money into stuff, and I'm not exactly sure, how the politics work, but they present certain things to whoever that is associated with him that make things happen. We as Black people, I don't think we really put our heads together like that and our monies together like that. So, I'm not trying to defend Barack by any means, but however, I'm once again touching on another problem within our communities. We don't join together. Our Black Lives Matter riots are good, and then you have to be careful what you say at the same time. I know we have freedom of speech. You got that group over there that's basically saying kill the police in some instances. And then you got our other brothers, our young, I guess you could call them our young millennial brothers, who are unlike you and I's father, who say, oh, forgive them, pray for them, turn the other cheek. No, these millennials are not really raised by moms, and are some of them are raised by, not really raised by fathers and moms, and so they get mad and frustrated. And if they happen to be trained, mad, and frustrated by the military, that's why we see some of the things we see. So I see Barack as being like any other president. There's no control. Society is the same way. It seems like it's a little bit angrier now. Seems like there's a whole lot angrier. And I know I'm digressing left and right, but these are my thoughts. That's the best way I can push them out to you.
Okay. All right, thanks for your time. We got another caller here who want to speak on it. Thank you, Mr. Harper. All right, let's see. 9339. Welcome to the call, 9339. Welcome to the call.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Hey.
Mai.
What's going on, Mai?
Hey.
How are you? What's on your mind?
How are you?
What do you think?
I'd like to say that for the most part, I agree with you. I did come on the call late, so I didn't hear the very beginning. But I think that was a really good perspective to talk about his own identity crisis, not crisis, but issue.
Right, it's crisis
because,
in a way. Yeah.
Even though he got into different communities and came back to the States and whatever as a teenager, late teens, and started working in his early 20s in Chicago in the African-American communities, for the most part, we know our primary years are the most important. What happens to us between the ages, really, I think, of 0 to 5 determines who we are, regardless of, for the most part, regardless of what environments you are put in afterwards. So I do think that you're right on that issue, something I had never thought about. But what I'd like to say in terms of the lack of doing anything specifically for Black people in this country, I think for the most part stems from our lack of unity as Black people. We don't have a PAC. We have African American Caucus, but that's the closest in that Democratic thing. For the most part, there isn't a movement, a huge community of Black people that have joined together, or even a PAC other than that, that can change the way the LGBT community, the Hispanic community, and others that you mentioned who have gotten something done. And politics is politics. The way to get something done in this country is through money, through PACs. We don't have a PAC. We are not united enough. Unfortunately, we still have too much distrust for each other. You know, all the issues we have in the Black community are real. And I don't need to repeat or regurgitate, you know, what they are for the most part. But we know we're not in general. And if we were, then I think we could have gotten something done. Black Lives Matter movement has been the closest thing since the 60s, I guess, in terms of uniting a lot of Black people. But it, just like Dr. King, brought together other than Black people to get something done. And so is the Black Lives Matter movement. That's fine. That's necessary. We do need more than us to get something done for us. But it's still not the type. Black Lives Matter is not a political, it's not even a 501c3. It's not a political organization that has any agenda that it's presenting to the president. How are we going to expect him, honestly, and this is not in his defense, because of all the things he said, I agree with basically. If he really had a Black conscience, I think he could come up with something on his own. But the point is,
Black conscience.
But the point is, we as a people haven't given him agenda, haven't given him an assignment, haven't given him a task, anything specific that we want on behalf of Black people. So if we don't make any demands, if we don't have anything, you know, that we can present to him that's presented in the way that the other communities have had that have gotten their way, then what do we expect?
Now, to your point, I agree with that. But here's my question to you is this. We didn't give him the money that they gave him, but if he had a real Black conscience heart, he could still use the executive branch to investigate these punk-ass police forces who are killing our people. He can do that. He did it once for Ferguson because they tore things down. But he could do that with his own right. If he had a Black consciousness, he would do that. Look how many killings we've had here under his watch that went unchecked.
He did? Right, I agree.
Yeah, he didn't.
He did it for Ferguson, and look what happened.
Only Ferguson.
Right, but then still, what did that result in? There's no, there was no conviction for Ferguson. I mean, Michael Brown, his killer. There has been no change in terms of empowerment in that community of Ferguson, because I have family that lives there.
Really?
There was, even though he used it then, what did it do? Didn't create jobs. It really didn't. You know what I mean? Because again, that was him and his own doing because it was a state of an emergency.
Wow,
but we haven't given him anything specific, a platform. I mean, you know what I mean? Any in the form of any bills, legislation whatsoever, saying pass this for Black people because we deserve it, because we have done everything that we know we've done in this country. We've never been, given any kind of restitution for being oppressed.
Right.
He's not going to create.
You're right. Nothing really got done from that. Wow, it's so true. You're right. They did do an investigation that showed it was definitely racist police force. It was rampant with racism in that area. But what happened? See, until somebody goes to prison, nobody's going to prison. So if nobody's going to prison under a quote-unquote Black president, what's going to happen next year when things get to be really out of hand?
What is going to happen for us that's going to empower us that we are not going to do for ourselves? Absolutely nothing. So when are we going to get it and realize that we have to create our own avenues? We have to create our own jobs, our own economy, our own communities, and make them successful. when are we going to come together enough to do that?
You know what?
Why can't we be as tight as the LGBT community?
I blame the churches.
Hispanic
I blame
community.
the churches for taking their
I'm
money.
sorry.
I blame the churches.
Huh?
I blame the churches. The 501(c)(3) money, giving them the faith-based initiative to give them money to pretty much keep quiet. I blame them because, you know, if all of my black men, most of our black men are going to prison early on, they have cases put on them. The black women and the children go to the pastor for leadership. And the pastors are not, most of them are not really doing a whole lot. They telling people to suppress. Look, I hate to say it. Jesse Jackson and Brother Aaron Sharpton, they are in position to keep us calm, to keep us from uprising. That's it. So once we remove the black church leadership, that's not really helping our community. Once we do that, I think we move forward because they're there to keep us calm.
But see, the black churches
idle.
I'm sorry, the creative black churches, or any church for that matter, is not a political body. It's not in a leadership role in terms of your policies and how you live. You know, I mean, it's basically faith.
I suppose
it's only there for your spiritual growth, your spiritual leadership,
supposedly.
Not
right.
Not your, you know, they're your politics, and they made that very clear in the very beginning. In order to form a church, that's in the, you know, separation of state and church, church and state. So you literally are forbidden to talk about politics in your church, you know, or sway people one way or the other towards or away from a certain political party, or you are in danger of losing your 501(c)(3).
Oh, I've seen people
had
do
that
it though.
From the gate. Huh?
I've seen them do it though. You look at the people that say 100 black pastors for Donald Trump. They was on TV. Did you see that?
That's crazy. No, I didn't.
Yeah, they were on TV. 100 black pastors. Donald Trump met with 100 black pastors. And
wait, he met with, or did they say they
were supporting Donald Trump?
That, or you saying he just met with them?
He met with them, and then they were on TV, did some kind of press conference, saying that we're behind Donald Trump for president. They did that on TV. I mean, you missed that. I gotta find that link and send it to you. But yeah, so it's like, you know, oh, it's so depressing, family. I'm really worried about
But it's still
people.
Maybe just on that where I'm sure they made it very clear that this is our own individual choice. We just all happen to be pastors. We all have a voice, and everybody can vote the way they want. What they can't do is in their churches tell people you need to, you know, vote for a certain person, and you need to be a Democrat, you need to be a Republican, or otherwise.
Right.
And they have to allow both sides, or if there's a Green Party, or however many parties, if they ask to come and speak, they can allow them to come and speak for themselves, you know, on their own behalf. But the church can't, in the church facility, say, or the pastor can't tell his congregants one way or the other how to vote.
Supposedly, right.
Or they, again, are endangered, then they can lose their status.
I feel like Donald
Trump.
Trump.
Thanks.
I feel like Donald Trump promised some type of maybe donation or something, but it was just really strong how they stood there, and people were coming against. I think Jamal Bryant was coming against him about how they should not be supporting Donald Trump like that, and he was a big proponent against him, but that was on TV. But yeah, so yeah, here's where we are. All right, thanks, Maya, for that. Let me see if anybody wants to talk. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Or anybody want to speak on President? Press 1 on your phone. You can have your say. It's your platform. Speak. Nobody's gonna give you a hard time if you're down with Trump. Speak on that too. It's like whatever. We're here to hear you. Press 1 on your phone. We can speak. Some new people here. What's this? Oh. Press 1, and we'll open up to the queue. Open up your mic. You can speak. (8730). Welcome to the call. Hello, you're live. They got scared and ran off. That's good. Let's see if 1621 wants to speak. 1621, you're late to the call. What's your name? Where are you calling from? 1621. It's your phone number. Okay, I guess everybody's shy. Well, that's it for tonight, family. It's been fun. You guys review that and follow us on YouTube. You can get the rebroadcast and also put your comments in the description. Like us on our Facebook page and on our Twitter. You want to sign up, add to our Twitter request, and you can follow us. In our private group, we can add you if you are a real person and not just a troller. We'll add you. So it's been a fun call tonight, family. Good night. Y'all have a good night's sleep, and we'll talk to you next Monday.